Hey friends, welcome back to Rose Tarot and Astrology. This is your astrology preview for the 29th decan of the year, October 13 through 22, brought to you by the Four of Swords in Tarot. First, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. I sure appreciate you showing up today. Okay, so this is something to keep in mind for the next week or so. The Four of Swords. Keywords are respite, contemplation, and retreat. And if you think about where we're coming from, which is the Three of Swords, sort of that heartbreak, sort of that getting down to the heart of the matter, and words can wound, but it's a temporary sort of feeling that we can recover from. So this is our period of recovery, like realizing that we can get better and maybe needing to retreat to a quiet place. This really, always looks to me almost like a person, like a sarcophagus or a person laying in state for their funeral, but it's not about death at all. It's really just about retreating from the hustle and bustle of the world, taking time to contemplate what it is that you've been through, what it is that you've learned, and what you now know. It's not about fighting. It's just about taking your rest and taking time to sort of process, contemplate. Oh my goodness, friends, sorry about that. Process, contemplate, and take in or digest what it is that you've been through so far. So that is what the Four of Swords is about, and that is something to keep in mind over the next several days. This decan and the next one both contain our eclipse season, which starts tomorrow, okay? And an eclipse season, that's two eclipses that are about 2 weeks apart. It happens about twice a year. So this year it's starting tomorrow with a solar eclipse in Libra, and it's going to end 2 weeks after tomorrow with that full moon in Taurus and a lunar eclipse at that time down there. So eclipse season, eclipses bring about shakeups. They bring about surprises. They bring about sort of portents of things to come. It can be a little bit dazzling. It can be a little bit frightening. In the old days when I didn't really know what was going on up there, especially a solar eclipse would seem to be a very strong omen of some kind, because with the solar eclipse, you've got the sun shining in the sky, and then the moon, which is new, so it's completely dark, we can't see it. The moon just slides across the front of the sun, or sort of in between, from our perspective, so in between us and the sun, and it blocks out the sun's rays from our perspective. And it's because we can't see the moon up there, it would really just seem like some great shadow was blocking the sun and making the light very strange. So that's kind of the energy that brings about, just like uncertainty and disruption and excitement and surprises too. Yay! So I just want to bring that back to the Four of Swords. And there's always guidance with the eclipse, like it's not really something we celebrate or we go out and like, yay, it's an eclipse. It's more like something that we try to lay low for, right? We don't want to be if there's chaos coming into our lives, we don't want to be out there trying to take care of important things that really wouldn't benefit from chaos happening, right? So it's just a time, it's a day, it's a period of time when it's a good time to just sort of lay low, keep it cool, stick to the plan, stick to your regular routine, and just try to keep a steady footing as we move forward through the weeks. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and start from the first day here. We have Friday the 13th, which is today. I'm getting this out a little bit late, but I'm happy to be able to share it with you today. Friday the 13th. Yay! Again, traditionally like a spooky sort of omen, right? And here we are in October. We're getting ready for Halloween at the end of the month, or Samhain at the end of the month, when the veil is thinning. Okay, so things are getting a little wacky, and things may seem a little bit chaotic or not to make sense for us. And today on Friday the 13th, we are in a waning crescent moon, which will be new tomorrow. So in that waning crescent phase, we are very much like shedding what doesn't work for us. We're tying off our efforts now for justice magic. We've made our arguments. We've submitted our proposals or our paperwork, and now we just get to tie it off. We get to say, okay, I'm done with that for now. Liken it to putting the lid on the pot, setting the cooker to low, and just forgetting about it for a while, right? We'll know when it's time to check on that justice magic stuff when we start to notice the odor of it in the air again, to take that metaphor very far. So Mars is trining Saturn retrograde today. And, you know, Saturn is in Pisces retrograde, and Saturn is not very comfortable in Pisces. Pisces is a dissolving influence, and Saturn is a very building strength kind of influence. So Saturn retrograde in Pisces is just allowing walls to crumble, you know, structures that we used to think were reliable, but now no longer serve a purpose, or worse yet, are just getting in the way and sort of falling down under their own weight. Mars trine Saturn, this gives us an opportunity to take action and just to give something that one final shove, right? Something that's about to fall apart anyway, something that you no longer want to hold on to, something that no longer feels very secure to you. You can make an effort to just physically release it. And if, you know, I would liken that to like maybe a garden wall that has been there for, you know, 1,000 years, and it's just really more of a hazard to the people in the area now than it is serving any purpose. So we're just going to go ahead, get our hammers out, shove those bricks over, make sure that, you know, nothing falls over and hurts anybody down the road. Okay, so this is a supported feeling. It makes the labor of doing so sort of a pleasure. It feels rewarding. And, you know, we all have these crumbling structures in our lives, these things that we butt up against again and again. You know, like maybe this used to be a really good boundary for me, but it's not a boundary that works anymore. So I have to, you know, push it down so I can decide where the next boundary is placed, that kind of thing. Where, you know, where I have put up limitations and barriers to my own freedom to act, to my own ability to make progress, because Mars is all about making progress. This is a good time to let them go. And it's actually a time when, you know, you might actually give up a habit like smoking or gambling, or take on a new sort of more restrictive but responsible lifestyle. You know, like if you consider vegan like a more responsible way to eat, then you might go vegan, something like that. Saturday the 14th is tomorrow, and that is when we have the new moon and the solar eclipse. And this solar eclipse is in Libra. So I just want to say that the solar eclipse is in Libra, and then the lunar eclipse 2 weeks after is in Taurus. And Libra and Taurus both ruled by our dear friend Venus, right? So this is a very Venus vibe 2 weeks eclipse season. And Venus is, you know, all about the balance. Well, okay, Venus is our goddess of love. Libra is the home of balance, right? Taurus is the home of comfort and sort of material well-being, and Venus rules them both. And Venus is currently in the land of Virgo. So this helps us a lot over the next 2 weeks, because the shakeups we're likely to experience, the sort of turmoil we're likely to experience, those are going to be Libra and Taurus themes, like Libra themes of balance and equity, Libra themes of partnership, of love and romance, friendship, even our spending money, like the nice things we like to have. Or the Taurus, which, you know, that's blending over into the Taurus, which is the nice things we like to have, our material sense of comfort, you know, our sense of stability in the world being good for us. And Venus in Virgo is our guiding light through this, because whatever shakeups that occur around those themes, Venus in Virgo, my wife has Venus in Virgo. So, you know, Venus in Virgo is a person who is really dedicated to their partnerships, dedicated to their friends, dedicated to their lover, and the sort of love language there is acts of service. In Virgo, it's about taking care of practical matters, large and small, so that we can have smooth functioning, right? And there's a willingness with the Venus in Virgo to want to sort things out, to talk things over, to have the conversations that it takes in order to make things work between people. So, if you're experiencing shakeups around your love life right now, I'm sorry to hear that, but it does happen. And just to understand that Venus and Virgo example at this time is really probably a nice grounded and sort of specific way, a nice grounded and very thoughtful way to go about approaching that turmoil, which is to say you want to have 2 feet on the ground, and you want to, not allow the turmoil or the shakeups or the surprises to, to confuse you or upset you or, put you in a position where you feel like very emotional, because Venus in Virgo is not very emotional. Really, we want emotional calm while we're dealing with these subjects, and we just want to be willing to get down to the truth, get down to the heart of the matter, right? and do it from a place of emotional calm, having reflected, okay? And if you're not ready to reflect, then take some time to reflect before you go in and have the conversation. Then coming up on Sunday the 15th, Sun makes an accommodation. I know I missed this. Mercury will be opposite to Chiron on Saturday too. This is about being careful about the way we use our words. So I really think it ties into the whole eclipse theme, right? We might have surprises, we might have shakeups, but if we're kind to ourselves and we're kind to others and we're careful about the way we use our words, then we won't start any unnecessary fights or wars. Sunday the 15th. Sun is in adjustment energy with Uranus retrograde. The Sun is in Libra, Uranus is in Taurus. So, more of that Venusian theme. And this is going to last for maybe 3 to 5 days, that energy. And it's sort of shakeups. Again, Uranus brings shakeups and surprises kind of along the way of eclipses. But Uranus is a little more optimistic vibe. It's about quick changes happening, and then all of a sudden you've got an upgraded perspective or upgraded technology, So the Sun is making an adjustment to the changes that are coming up. That's our sense of purpose in life. That's who we are out in public in our work, social and civic lives. So I'd say in the workspace, in our interactions with people out in the world, we're going to want to be a little flexible when it comes to changes of plan, changes in technology, just changes in general. So that we can have a better functioning day. Don't get so stuck to the plan that you don't see, the benefit you can take advantage of to make the plan unfold easier, right? Don't get so stuck to the plan that you can't be flexible, in the interest of making things work out. Again, Venus in Virgo, sorting things out, talking it over, not necessarily having to stick to one plan, being flexible enough and ready to change the plan in the interest of meeting our purposes. Tuesday the 17th, Mercury, again, in an adjustment energy with Uranus retrograde. And you see Sun and Mercury are making the same aspects here. So they're going to conjunct coming up on Thursday. They're going to be right there together. And Mercury is our thoughts, plans, the way we go about our day-to-day business. It's sort of just like the busy brain, right? And the way we use our words with other people, the way we sort of negotiate our plans, our chores, our work, our homes, all of that. Mercury, so Mercury is an adjustment with Uranus. That's just saying, yes, the plan going forward should reflect the new reality, right? We've had some opportunities already here for shakeup, and we've been going through it. It was sort of a volcanic week last week. A war got started. It's really been, tough to see what's going on out in the world. And so, understand that this adjustment energy, this call to be flexible through the changes is here to help us in self-preservation, to help us remain safe, to get us into a state where we can interact with the world from an emotionally calm state of being. So yes, whatever the new reality is by now, your plan has to include that. Again, don't get so stuck to the plan that you can't keep up with what's actually going on. And then on Wednesday, that adjustment energy comes in again. Sun and Neptune here. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, where Saturn is also retrograde in Pisces, right? Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, and Neptune is where Pisces is, or Pisces is where Neptune is home. So it's just the vast ocean of responsibility and feeling and potential connection. So it's easy to get fooled by Neptune in Pisces. Be on the lookout for shady dealings. And I say that because Neptune is retrograde. So, it's illusory even when it's direct, but there's a real chance for getting deceived when it's retrograde. So be on the lookout for any shady dealings going on around you. If you don't trust the way somebody is dealing with you, make sure you ask questions and get the answers that you need to feel good about staying in the conversation. And don't act on things that you don't feel like the motivations are clear or the goals aren't clear. And that's like your motivations or the motivations of the people that you're working with, right? The sun, that's your work, social, and civic life. We're talking about out in the world. Be careful and just feel like you understand the motivations of yourself and those around you, so that you don't get caught up in a a moment where you got caught up in an aha moment, right? Where you're like, I didn't realize that was what we were doing here. Okay. But not really okay, right? So just be careful about that. And then, after that full moon, we're in the waxing crescent phase, that full moon. After that new moon on Saturday, we'll be in the waxing crescent phase. So this is the time when we are thinking up, dreaming, and creating new plans, setting new intentions, and new goals, and sort of planning how it is that we're going to create the thing that we've set out to do, or to complete the thing that we've set out to do. Thursday, the 19th, Mercury, adjustment energy with Neptune, right? Again, the same two aspects, but with the Sun and Mercury, and they're going to go conjunct today. So again, don't get deceived. Seek the facts. Mercury wants to make a plan. Mercury wants to know the truth and deliver the news, right? So, since the Mercury is the one that carries the plan and takes care of the day-to-day business, make sure, you're clear on what your intentions are, what your motivations and goals are, and don't assume things. Don't assume things, all right, especially on Thursday. These are relatively brief because the Sun and Mercury move pretty quickly. The Sun's aspects often last maybe 3 to 5 days. Those Mercury aspects really only like 1 day. And then on Thursday, the Sun goes conjunct to Mercury. So this is a time, and this happens more than once a year, because Mercury just sort of runs back and forth across the Sun from our perspective, because Mercury is the closest to the Sun, so we watch it go around the Sun like every 88 days. And when Mercury and the Sun appear to merge in the sky, then that's when our conversations and the planning, the need to know what we're doing, and also just the busy work of taking care of business intensifies, okay? And in Libra, so we're talking about an intensification of planning and conversations that hopefully bring us towards something that feels balanced, equitable, and fair. Okay, so we've tied off that justice magic up here, but we still want to be thinking and keeping in mind what is fair. Moon in Sagittarius, Sun in Libra, that's a very fiery vibe during that waxing crescent moon. So, we're really feeling inspired and creative and a little bit adventurous, and we're really capable of being super honest with each other when the moon is in Sagittarius, super honest with each other, but also honest with ourselves, really clear with ourselves. So that's a good time for that conjunct to be happening so that we can really get clear with ourselves and the people around us about what we think is fair and what we think needs to happen next. Friday the 20th, Mercury will be square to Pluto. So this is challenge and transition. This is like Mercury's void of course this time, okay? So Mercury goes square to Pluto on Friday the 20th and then goes on into Scorpio on Saturday the 21st. And Mercury's parting shot in Libra is the square to Pluto, and that square just brings up a challenge, but it's not a challenge that's meant to stop you. It's really a challenge that's meant to sort of spark action, catalyze you into action. So this is a challenge in the transition from Mercury in Libra to Mercury in Scorpio, and it's because our outlook is shifting and we're becoming more about deep insight. So, something that Libra and Scorpio have in common is that they really want things to be balanced and fair. They really appreciate that kind of vibe, that kind of feeling that things are equitable and everybody has what they need. Libra is more the one to have the conversations and sort of fight the battles, especially the verbal battles or the the battles of thought that have to be fought. Sip of water, thank you. But in Scorpio, Mercury is more about handling things. I said stealth mode here, handling things in a more covert way, or not covert necessarily, potentially covert, but also just in a low key way that's steady working on the problem, steady sort of like eroding the problem, steady working on the problem to make it go away, or steady building the process, building the policy, the plan, and the process by which we can achieve our day-to-day business, and achieve that sense of equity and fairness that is important both in Libra and in Scorpio. So this is our challenge. We're going from sort of fighting that fight in an out loud, seeking justice way, which is still very much on our minds because the sun will be in Libra, but now Mercury is moving into Scorpio and saying, okay, what can I do if I just, pull some strings and take care of some things on a less obvious way, or on a sort of low key basis. And then on Saturday, the 21st, Mercury does go into Scorpio. The sun also squares Pluto, which is kind of its parting shot to Libra, because after Saturday, the 21st, that next Monday, the sun is going to go on into Scorpio itself. So sun square Pluto here, challenge and transition again. We're catalyzed into action. And Pluto brings about the change, but it also brings stuff up for us to work on. It brings up discoveries, memories, things that we hadn't recalled in a long time, reprises to things, but also just sort of motivates you in terms of like what you want at your core and how can you be empowered to get it. It's sort of about using your personal power. And in this condition, it's using your personal power because you got kind of a light sort of sparked under your behind and you've got to get going, right? Neither of these is a condition where it's like, oh, I'm going to decide whether or not I can make this transition. This is like, no, you're going to, and you're going to have to take action, and if you think you're going to sit it out, you're probably going to find that that's not going to work. Also on the 21st, Venus goes square to Jupiter. Now this one might last a little bit longer, like up to a week, and I'll check it out. I'll put it in the daily card. But Venus trine to Jupiter, what a beautiful pairing, because these are both of our benefics. Okay, Venus is our lesser benefic or our personal benefic, and Jupiter is our greater benefic, or more like the transpersonal or the cultural collective benefic. So Venus is about how we connect on the personal level, and Jupiter is really about how we connect with the rest of the world. And Jupiter has been retrograde kind of asking us, Jupiter's retrograde in Taurus, right? And Venus is in Virgo right now. So 2 earth signs. It's a trine in Earth. You know, Jupiter's been asking us to search our hearts and sort of dispose of any outdated ideas or feelings or just complexes that we have that are taking up room. We want to make more room in our hearts and our minds and in our lives in general for the bigger, better things we'd like to have. Okay, Venus is very much about love and the nice things we like to have. Jupiter is about getting us to them, and Jupiter is like the #1 cheerleader, and it's just very generous. So generous, and then with that trine vibe there, you've got grace and ease as these 2, you know, most positive planets with the most positive influence on us get together in the most positive kind of aspect, and it gives us this feeling of generosity within our heart, like we can give a little bit more of ourselves in the interest of making interpersonal connections, but also in the interest of making room in our life for the bigger, better things we'd like to have. Sometimes, you know, you get what you want by first figuring out how to give it. And then Sunday the 22nd, Mercury will trine Saturn. So Mars trine Saturn, Venus trine Jupiter, Mercury trine Saturn. That's a lot of help in this decan, okay? That's a lot of grace and ease provided to us as we move through these challenges and have to make these adjustments, right? As things intensify and then shift as we're catalyzed into action, not always in the most fun way, but we get this grace where we can work to eliminate like actual barriers and imagined barriers to our success. We can love our way to a bigger, better version of ourselves and our relationships. And then with Mercury trying to Saturn, this is like, again, in Earth. Is that in Earth? No, it's in air. No, it's in water. My mistake. Mercury trine Saturn, because Mercury is now in Scorpio and Saturn is in Pisces retrograde. So this is about giving us ease and grace as we take care of business in our day-to-day life. Okay, Saturn is about the responsibilities and the restrictions, the things we have to take care of before we take care of the things we don't necessarily have to take care of, right? So this is taking care of business in a serious way, but with a lot of ease and grace granted to us. Like it just becomes easier to move around, to communicate, and to sort of make the deals and have the conversations that we need to have. It's a great time for signing contracts, taking a new job, nailing down the specifics of a deal. It's all very easy and positive. It is a brief aspect. Mercury aspects, again, last only a day or 2. And then the day after Sunday, in the next decan, in decan 30, we have the sun moving on into Scorpio that Monday. And then the following Saturday, we'll have a full moon and a lunar eclipse in Taurus. So what does that all say for us? I know that I'm going to want to find out. I hope you will join me for that as well. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I would like it if you would post 3, how do I do this? Let's do 3 purple heart emojis in the comments. And that's to celebrate the last 10 days of the sun in Libra, which is ruled by Venus, but also, you know, to celebrate all this trine activity, all this ease and grace that we're given by spirit. Purple is the color of spirit, and the heart is freedom, right? It's what it feels like to feel supported and have that ease and grace as we move through our changes. Okay, friends, again, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all in the next video.